Hi friends, welcome to episode 1 of the Horse Feather Fiber Arts podcast. My name is Alaja. If you're coming over from Instagram, hey, you probably already know a little bit about me. And if you're just randomly stumbling across me on YouTube here, welcome. I will start off with a little intro about myself. I live in Colorado Springs with my husband, Colton, and our 4-year-old daughter, River, and our 2 rescue animals. My dog, Ryder, is a Basset Hound Blue Heeler mix who will be turning 6 this year. I rescued him when I lived in North Dakota, and then we also have an almost 10-month-old kitten named Freya that we rescued here in Colorado Springs. She is wild and we love her. I actually filmed this video yesterday, but left out a lot of things I wanted to talk about, and I figured instead of just inserting random clips, I would just start over. So at the very end, she did something pretty funny yesterday though while I was filming, so I will put that clip at the very end if you want to see her. So I wrote a few notes that I have in my lap, in case you're wondering why I keep looking down so that I don't forget the things I wanted to talk about, like I did yesterday. So I will just quickly go over my maker story and why I'm sitting here awkwardly filming myself in front of a camera. I started crocheting in 2016 when I found out I was pregnant and just decided I wanted to make things, and I went to YouTube and taught myself. Thank you to all the fabulous content creators who put out those resources and support. Super helpful. I was immediately addicted to it and just kind of went from there. I've always been very creative and artsy, so it's not a surprise that it's now a huge part of my everyday life. From crochet, I jumped over to knitting, and that is definitely my favorite thing at the moment, so you'll see a lot of knitting content on here, as well as sewing. I've been sewing for a while. This year my main goal is to get into garment sewing, which I will talk more about later, and a little bit of weaving. I do enjoy it. It is pretty time consuming for me, so I don't do it too much, but I have a pretty large piece I'm working on right now that's living in my studio downstairs that I will probably show in the next episode, so something to look forward to. If you are coming from Instagram, then you probably know I was previously Crooked River Crochet and rebranded this year to Horse Feather Fiber Arts, which is not a random name. That was one of my nicknames as a kid that I loved, and I am a horse girl and I love nature, so it just seemed very fitting to incorporate that into my business moving forward. When I first started out with Crooked River Crochet, I had an Etsy shop where I sold ready to ship and made to order beanies and home decor and baby things, and I loved that, but I very quickly got burnt out. My daughter was a baby at the time I was doing that, and just a one-woman show making all the things and trying to figure out how to be a mom was a bit of a challenge for me, and it just kind of started sucking the joy out of making for me, so I took a break from that and from Instagram and just kind of focused on my own life for a while. And I missed the community here though, and I missed the connections I'd made and friends and sharing the things I was working on, so I came back, and that's when I rebranded and I reopened my Etsy shop. But I now sell stitch markers and progress keepers, project bags, and I'm really enjoying that. I'll link all that below, my Instagram and Ravelry and Etsy, if you're interested and want to check that out some more. I don't want to talk too much about myself, but definitely feel free to drop some questions or in the comments below if you would like to know more. I'd be happy to share. So why I've started podcasting here. I when I did rebrand, I don't set New Year's resolutions or anything like that, but I did have an intention moving forward with my business. I really wanted to more deeply connect with the community and also contribute something to it. I really enjoy watching making, knitting, crocheting podcasts, so I thought that it would be fun to start my own and to share what I'm up to, and also maybe a little bit about where I live. Me and my daughter really love to hike, and she loves to collect things when we're out on the trail, so my house is full of pine cones and rocks, and it's really fun. So we get out in nature quite a bit, and I will probably share some footage of that at some point, take you guys along on some of our adventures. Yeah, so I guess I will just jump right into it with what I'm wearing. This is the first sweater I ever knit. It's the Love Note by Tin Can Knits. I knit it with Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company in her Serenade colorway on the fern base, and I paired that with Fiber Space Cumulus in the early gray. I will fact check that, and everything will be linked below. All the yarn and patterns that I talk about will be definitely in the description box below. Yeah, and I'm wearing it, sorry for the close-up, but I'm wearing it with one of my favorite dresses. It has pockets. And trying to get a little bit more wear out of the sweater. The weather, it's starting to get warmer here in Colorado, and yeah, so I'm trying to wear it while I can. And I'm drinking some tea out of my favorite mug that I found at an antique store. In case you're interested, this is the tea. It's pretty good. Not much to say about that. So now I can share what I'm working on. I have a few whips going on right now. I'm working on a couple test knits that I'm really excited about. The first one here is by Rachel of Rachel Knits Things. It's called the Desert Bloom Top. Not much to show of it right now. I will also try and insert photos, and if I can't do that, there will be links, so you can see what the finished product will look like. But it's just a really cute faux wrap peplum top that I'm really excited about, and I'm knitting it with a really nice cotton linen blend yarn. It's Kelbourne Woolens Mojave in the natural colorway, and yeah, it's really nice. I'm really enjoying this yarn. I can definitely foresee many more spring and summer makes in the future with that yarn. It's really great. And then I'm also working on a crochet test, the Silk Moth Ruana by my friend Hailey of Made by Hailey Bailey. Also not a lot to show of this right now. I'm currently just bouncing between the two of them. They're both just super enjoyable projects. So this is going to be a giant silk moth on the back panel using Sprigs Stone yarn. Here's my little basket of it. It's a merino yak blend yarn, and it is really fun and enjoyable to work with. It just feels really special, and I'm super excited to be using it for this project. Alicia will be offering kits of that when Hailey releases that pattern. Okay, sorry about that little interruption. My daughter is currently having some downtime and decided she needed a snack, so yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so Alicia will be offering a few kit options for Hailey's design, and I would highly recommend checking them out when the time comes, because it is just really beautiful yarn. Yeah, so those are my two main focuses at the moment, trying to get those done. I don't like calling them a selfish knit, because you should be able to make things for yourself without it being selfish, but this is a project I'm working on for myself. It looks super teeny, but it's the Ripple Bralette by Jessie, and I'm using Hailey of Made by Hailey Bailey's yarn. This is her classic sock base in the Juniper colorway. It's getting a little bit blown out here, but it is really gorgeous, and I've said in the past that I don't use a lot of color, but lately that is not true. I don't know if it's just the weather warming up, but I've been really enjoying branching out and playing with some color lately. And yeah, I mean, I guess in the past I've liked color as well, but I find I don't tend to wear a lot of the more colorful pieces that I make, so I try and stick to neutrals because I know they'll go with more things and I'll get a lot of wear out of them. But I'm really enjoying that kind of mindless, relaxing knit, and Hailey's yarn makes that super enjoyable with all the speckles, so that'll be fun. I'm hoping to have that finished, you know, in time to enjoy while the weather is warm. So I have that. Those are pretty much the main things I'm working on right now. I do have a design in the works. I probably forgot to mention that earlier too. I have started designing this year, which is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time and just finally decided to go for it this year. So I have a couple designs out now, one currently in testing, which I remembered to bring up to share. This is my quill feather wrap that, again, you'll be hearing a lot about Hailey. She custom dyed this yarn for my design, and it makes it very, very special to me. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It has a cute little picot bind off, just a really soothing, meditative knit, a really nice staple piece to have in your wardrobe. That is currently in testing right now and will hopefully be released by the end of this month. So I'll have more on that, but here is a close-up of the yarn, which is just so perfect. Yeah, Hailey's good at what she does. So I love that. I'm really excited about that. But back to the pullover design that I was talking about. I have this idea for a pullover. I've never designed a pullover before, so I'm a little intimidated by the grading process, but I have been talking to a tech editor, and I believe that is the route I will go. I really want this to be size inclusive and easy for everyone to make, so I want to do it right. Yeah, but I'm really excited about the inspiration behind it. It already has a name, the Fireweed Pullover, inspired by fireweed flowers up in the mountains, and it's using the seersucker stitch. Here is the swatch I have worked up. It'll have a rolled hem, and I just really love this texture. This is actually the same yarn that I used for my love note, but I will not be using this yarn for the actual design. I did buy some yarn and I have been playing around with it a little bit, but I'm not totally set on it at the moment, so I might seek out a collaboration. I'm not sure. I just haven't stumbled upon a yarn that really calls to me for this design yet, but I have all the other basics ready to go, so hopefully you'll be seeing more of that soon, and I'm hoping to have that design out by fall or winter, so definitely don't hold your breath. It'll be a longer process. I really want to make sure that it's done right, but I'm really excited about that. It's pretty much all I have going on at the moment. I can also, I guess, talk about some future plans when I have a free moment to work on something else for myself. A big goal of mine this year is to make more of my own clothes and get into garment sewing. I've sewn for a while. I've never gotten into garment sewing, even though I've wanted to since the day I got my sewing machine. Thank you, Mom. But yeah, so that's on in the plans for this year, I have a few sewing patterns I want to get going on soon, just a matter of picking some fabric out, so I will be sharing that hopefully in the next couple months. I'm sure summer I will be very into sewing, with, you know, it being hot and all, so yeah, but I do have a cardigan planned that I would like to get started on. I'm not gonna rush it because it's about to start getting warm here, but I do hope to have it done by fall. I have a very well-loved cardigan that's been in my wardrobe for about a decade now, and it's getting pretty dingy and needs to be replaced, so I thought it would be really fun to knit my own to replace it with. And I'm going to, again, I'll try and insert a photo up in this area here, but that will be the Milk and Honey cardigan by Amy Christophers, and it's just a really beautiful cabled cardigan, and I have the yarn already picked out. I'll be using Autumn and Indigo in her classic DK base, just some natural squishy goodness. This is her Overcast colorway. Yeah, so I am excited to get started on that when I have some extra time, probably next month when I'm done with my test knits. Yeah, so that'll be good. I'm gonna peek at my notes to make sure that I'm on track. Yeah, I mean, I think this episode is gonna be a little short and sweet. I realize I am saying a lot and playing with my hair, so I hope you're bearing with me and we'll get through this first awkward episode together. Hoping that, I'm sure it'll get better. The more I record, I really hope to continue doing this, and I really want to connect with you all down in the comments below if you want to tell me something about yourself or if we have anything in common. If you're on Instagram, I'd love to check you guys out there so we can get to know each other. I really appreciate the time you spent with me, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys in a few weeks. Bye! That we rescued here in Colorado, and she's been a great addition to our family. We love her. She is normally napping on my lap or next to me, or she's running around the house being naughty. Okay, she just fell in my whip basket right now. So this is just a little sample of Miss Freya here. She is wild and I love her. So that's her.